Hello and welcome to the third video of making a WordPress Valentine's Day plugin. If you would like to get the code from the previous video so you can code along, you will find that in the description below. So the first thing I want to do is show the thing that we're making very quickly. So if you've watched my previous two videos, you'll see what we will be making. So this little animation or title here. So if we go to the back end, you'll see that the settings for that plugin are in the settings folder. So we can change the title, we can change the animational style of it, and we can change the amount of hearts that are displayed on it. So if we save that, that will all be changed now. However, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with our widget. So we're going to be registering our widget. So this is this option here. What I would like you to notice is that we don't actually have any settings for this widget in this area. We have them in the settings folder. So today we are going to be creating this widget, but it's important to know that this widget will not have any back-end settings for it. So if we go back to the main page now, we can see that our hearts are now flying up instead of fading in and out, and there's a little bit more of them. So that's what we're going to be making today. Okay, so for our main aim today is to create our widget for our WordPress plugin. Our 5 tasks are to create the object for our plugin class, to turn that class into a singleton class. So a singleton class is a design pattern that is used in software development. We're going to be explaining that a little later on in the video. We're going to be getting the widget template from the WordPress codex website and using that widget class to create our file. We're going to be changing the basic details of that widget template, and then we're going to be linking them up within that within our register widget method. Again, if you feel that you can do this all by yourself, attempt it now. Stop the video, try it out, and then check your work with mine. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I've put the tasks ahead, so people can try it before they watch me do it. The structure of the plugin. So we have our plugin class. We've added our constructor that automatically calls the actions. The first action is the script, which adds our JavaScript and CSS files. The second method is the register widget. At the moment, we have not added that register widget WordPress method in yet, but we will be doing in this video. We have created the CSS files and the JavaScript files, and we have linked them up. In this video, we will be creating our widget object. Now, our widget object will only have the front end method because, as you saw on that demonstration about our Valentine's plugin, we don't have the backend or the admin. All our backend and admin will be in the settings. So that means we'll have to write them in the plugin class, not the widget object class. If you want to find out how to add the details and the data in the widget object, I would suggest going into watching the video that I made on the Matrix plugin, and you can see that below. In the Matrix plugin, we have 3 methods in the widget object. It's the front end, the back end, and the update method. But because in this video we only want the front end, I've gotten rid of the other methods. So they link up. Now, the Singleton design is like a box around the plugin. So in this box there will be an if statement, and it's saying that if this class already exists, don't create the object. So the Singleton design means that it stops the code from making more than one object of that class. So if that object already exists, we will not call it again. So it's like a protective box that protects it from making more than one of it. So let's get started on the code. Okay, let's start by picking one of the tasks. the first task I'm going to do is I'm going to change my class into a Singleton Design. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add an if statement at the front. So I'm saying that if this class does not exist, let's execute this class. So what we need to do is just put that in, and there we have it here. So this if statement there is just making sure that the class doesn't exist before we allow to execute this code. So we can tick off the second one. So let's look at the first one now. Let's create our object. So to create an object, we need to first make sure it's in our Singleton class. So we're going to put this at the very bottom. And we just need to put the keyword new and then put it as the class title, so it should match up there. And then we're just assigning it to this object, this plugin object now. Okay, so the reason why it has to be in the design, the Singleton Design class, is because it'll go through here and it won't automatically run this code. What will happen is that it will miss this out, go down into here, create the object by calling this class and then going through. So that's why we put it at the bottom here and not in the class, but just at the bottom of the class. Okay, so we can tick off the first task now. Now we need to create our new widget PHP file. So I'm going to be creating that in my includes folder. So I'm just going to put it heart, and I'm going to say heart widget, and it will be .php. Okay, so we have that. Now we need to go and get the template from the WordPress Codex website. So if we go online and we go to Google and search WordPress Widget API, we're going to be looking for the Widgets Theme Developer Handbook. So we're going to be looking at this one. And it talks a little bit about widgets, but what we want to do is we want to go down to the bottom and find the sample widget. So if we look here, this is the sample. You can start seeing some of the same things that we've been using, like the class. What this does is this uses OOP inheritance advantages to take information from the parent class, which is this WordPress widget. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy all of this onto our widget. So we now have that. So if we look at our tasks, we have now created the widget template, so we can tick off that third one. Now I'll put the link below of where I got this this template, so you can just click on it, and maybe that'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so what we need to do now is change the basic details of the widget template. So I'm going to get rid of the comment, and I'm going to change it to heart. Val widget, and the basic ID. So this is the ID that WordPress uses. So I'm just going to call it to Val widget. So the name of it. So this is the thing that we'll be looking at the dashboard. So I'm going to say Val widget, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding the description of it. So this is a widget that will display hearts. Now this is important because this is where all the information is stored. So for example, if you're echoing any text here, or you're putting a title in, you have to store it in the same location. So if we change this, if we want to add a title or if we want to echo something, we have to store it at the same location. So that's the basic information done. We've done the information that allows WordPress to register it as this. We've done it so this is what will be displayed as our widget title. Now, if we look here, this is the form. So if you remember from our example, we had no form. So I can get rid of this. Again, this is the update. Now, because we have no form, there's going to be nothing to update. So we can get rid of this method. And so this is the front end widget here. Now we don't have a title. This is not where we're getting our information from. So we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of all of that, because we'll be putting our own information in there afterwards. So if we save it now, we've got the template that we need to create our widget. So let's save that. Okay, so we've done the 4th task. Now before we move on to the 5th task, I want to change some of this name value here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the escape HTML WordPress, or the escape HTML method to just cleanse this from any potential HTML tags that could disrupt the information, the title. So this title, it shouldn't be a problem, but for me it's always a good idea to just make sure that you, when you're working with when you're passing information through, it's always best to try and filter out things that could cause strange behavior. Now do remember that we have to attach it to the same domain as this before, so if you want that, you have to attach it to the same domain. Okay, so let's save that, and then let's link our widget with our plugin. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is we need to use this register widget method, and then just link up our widget with our plugin. So obviously we're going to have it in our register widget method, and we just need to make sure that it's the same name as the class, because they have to link up. And that should be everything. That should be the task 5. So let's try and see if we've got it working in our WordPress website now. Okay, so let's go back to the website and go into the dashboard. First, we'll have to activate, so you can see our heart title there. This is a plugin about hearts. That's the information here. So that's the information that goes there. If we activate it, and then we go into the appearance widget, we should be able to find our information, our widget there. It's not there. So if we go back, let's have a look why. We've registered our widget. However, we haven't given the location. This was my fault. We haven't given the location of where that file is. So for us to register the method, the widget, we have to first do the register code, but we also have to tell WordPress where that class is. So that's what we need to do now. Okay, so to register the widget, we need to first put the code, the register widget code here, into it, but then we also need to link it up to the path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using a required once function of WordPress, of PHP to do this. So what I've done here is it's asking here, that's saying if it exists. So this is similar to this here. It's saying if this file exists, and it asks where the file is, then include this file, else exit. Because if we can't access the file, then the widget's not going to work and the plugin's not going to work. So in this case, I'm just saying, if you can't find the heart widget, file, just exit the plugin. If you potentially, if you've got more complex plugins, you might not want this to happen, and you can choose to do something else. But for this case, we're just going to exit. So let's save it and then try that again. Okay, so our plugin still works. It's activated. If we go into the widget, we now can see our widget there that we can put. Let's say just put it into the footer for now. So if we look at our widget, we have this as the title and we have this as the description. If you look, there are no options because we've got rid of that form method, and at the moment it doesn't do anything because we haven't put anything here. So this is just saying this is WordPress does this for before and after, kind of help match it up with the rest of the theme. So we need to put our code in the middle to get the look that we want. So that's all the tasks that we've done. We've now got our plugin and widget registered. They're talking to each other. All the files are talking to each other. And now we can start adding the functionality and appearance to our plugin and widget. Okay, so before we go, some concept checking questions. Stop the video and see if you can answer these questions. Hopefully you've stopped paused the video and you've answered the questions. Let's go through it. To create an object in PHP, you just need to use the new keyword with the class name and then attach it to the variable that will be the object. Second one, how do we link our widget and with the plugin? Well, we have to first use our the WordPress function register widget and then the name of our plugin. On the name of our widget, but then we also need to make sure that we have included this require once and then included the name of the file path. Now this plugin directory path, this just allows WordPress to automatically fill out the rest of the path. So instead of us including the full path, the WordPress will be able to find most of it, and then we can just add the last bit that we want. What is the purpose of the code below? The purpose of the code is to stop more than one object from the class being created. So this just adds a little bit more protection, and it stops maybe the code from doing strange things if there's multiple classes or multiple objects that have been created and you only want one of them. So it's a good way to help protect a little bit more of your code. So thank you very much. Hopefully we are able to create our widget for our WordPress plugin now. Do remember, if you think we've accomplished all our objects in the video, give some feedback. If you think there are any way I can improve these videos, let me know. Do remember, if you do want to keep up with how we're making this Valentine's plugin, do subscribe, and then you can get information and updates when new videos come online. So thank you very much.